I've been looking for a different path, show me. I've been looking for a bigger bag, need that. They be asking where the show is at, we back.
It's your boy Tyrell, and today I got a special video for you guys, a highly requested video from a lot of people that's hit me up on social media when they found out that I went and got therapy. They wanted to know my thoughts. They wanted to know, how was therapy? What did you think of it? Would you recommend it? How did you find a therapist? All these different things people ask me. And today and another day, because I'm going to do a part 2 video. So it's going to be part 1 and part 2, a 2-part video. This video, I'm going to be kind of talking about the stigmas and the stereotypes surrounding therapy and the Black community, like what they think of it. How did I feel before I went to get therapy? What are some of the things that wanted me to get therapy? And then in part 2, I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about my personal experiences. And fair warning, like, I'm not a therapist, I'm not any type of counselor or anything like that. I'm just sharing my personal experience. Part 2, I'm going to be diving in and telling you guys about my personal experience and like what I think about it, what I recommend it. And also, just to let you guys know, I only did 4 or 5 sessions before my insurance ran out. Yay, US healthcare system. My insurance ran out, so I couldn't continue therapy, and I'm currently not working, so it was very hard for me to get a therapist. But I'm sure there's a few ways out. I'm trying to, get some healthcare now, get all that situated, and hopefully I can continue my journey with therapy. Okay, so sit back. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment, click that bell so you can get a notification when I do post part 2 of this therapy, kind of, I don't know what to call it, my 2-part therapy video. There we go. We'll just say that. I have like a little list over here that I wanted to kind of make sure I touch on some of these points. So the first thing I want to talk about is why mental health is important. And I think mental health is super, super important, man. Like, we go to the gym to work out, to, get the big muscles, work our biceps, work our triceps, work our chest, our back, all these different muscles. But we don't work one of the main important muscles in our body, which is our brain. We don't ever work that out. And we don't ever really pay attention to it. And I think our mind, mental health is just as important as physical health. Mental health is just as important as physical health. I said it twice because the first time it was came off a little weird, but you know what I meant. Mental health is super important, and it's certain things, like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all these things are part of mental health. And I'm glad there's a lot of mental health awareness nowadays, because so many people, go through it. And if you're watching this, I'm glad this video found you. I hope I can bring some type of light to your life, some type of spark. I don't know like what it is, but if you're going through something, man, I just want to first say that I love you and that you're a very, very strong person, and I know what it's like. And I'm trying not to get teary-eyed, bro, because I know what it's like to be depressed. I know what it's like to be down and sad and feeling like there's nothing left to give. But I do want to say this. You never know what tomorrow will bring, It could be raining one day, storming, thunderstorm, super bad weather, but the next day it could be super shiny, and, rainbows come after a rainstorm. So if you're going through anything, please, just know that I love you. Know that I care about you. Know that your family care about you. There's people in this world that love you, and you never know what tomorrow brings, And I want you guys to really, really hone in on that and really understand that. It's super important. There's mental health lines out there that can help you out. I mean, feel free to DM me, leave a comment down below, and I try my best to respond to comments. But I just wanted to first say that before we even talk about anything else, because I just know what it's like. For me, I think I've always dealt with trauma and issues, mental health issues and stuff, because I don't even like to call it mental health issues, right? Just mental health in general. But I lived a very, very traumatic childhood. I've seen a lot of things, from gangs, drugs, guns, everything, man. And being around that is very traumatic. It also gives you PTSD, in my opinion, because I've seen, I've been around people shooting guns, and shootouts and stuff like that has happened in my neighborhood, and people getting stabbed in my neighborhood. All that stuff is not normal, it's not normal anywhere, that's one of the things that I dealt with. Another thing I dealt with outside of my environment was actually in my household, which I guess is still considered my environment. But my household, I had my mom and dad. They didn't really have a great relationship when I was growing up. I was probably about 4 years old. My dad left, and I still remember. And I think one of the things that sucks so much is I have a great memory, and I remember a lot of things from my childhood. And I remember the day my dad left. But I've seen my mom and dad fight a lot. I've seen my mom and dad, argue. I've seen them fight and argue over me. I was in the middle of both of them. And I never really seen anyone love my mom. I never really experienced love in a household. And I think when you don't experience that as a kid, it makes it very, very difficult when you're older and you're a man and you're trying to find love yourself and you're trying to get into a relationship and you're trying to build friendships. If I've never seen love before, I don't know what love looks like other than movies and music. It's very hard for me to love, and I think my message, like what I'm talking about in this part 1 and part 2 video is very universal. I don't think it's just in the Black community. I think like a lot of it's in the Black community because that's what I know, but I'm sure like whether you're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, whatever the case may be, man, I'm sure that there's some things that you deal with as well. So comment down below and let me know where you guys are from. And that'd be really cool just to see how many people out there are like you, and people are going through the same things. Because when you're depressed, it's nice to know that you're not alone, and it's nice to know that other people are fighting with you. Other people are fighting the same battle as you, and if we all just come together in a community, we can make each other's lives better and just make the world a better place that way. But yeah. Those are some of the things that I dealt with, just to kind of touch on a little bit. I have a few story times on my channel if you guys want to check it out, but I kind of want to jump into the stigmas and stereotypes of getting therapy, right? So to me, therapy is you're going to get help, you're going to better yourself, you're going to grow, to help yourself grow, to understand why certain things are triggering you, to understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. To me, that's what therapy means. But in the Black community, or just the world in general, like, I think there's a bad stigma on getting therapy. It's more so like, oh, you're crazy if you get therapy. Something's wrong with you if you get therapy, which is not the case at all. You just want to help yourself. You want to get better. And there's nothing wrong with getting better and trying to grow. So that's one of the stigmas in the Black community, which I think a lot of people in the Black community, they deal with PTSD, they deal with anxiety, depression, but they don't get help because of these stigmas, these stereotypes, and it's not right, man. And I'm here to hopefully, make a difference and help some people out there. Now, like I said earlier, I think I said it if I didn't, but I only got like 4 or 5 sessions before my healthcare ran out. But those 4 or 5 sessions were very impactful. It's not always about the quantity, but it was very high quality sessions that I had, and it helped me understand a lot. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of the stuff that I discovered throughout my therapy sessions within this 2-part series. So that's pretty much why I decided to go to therapy, and that's pretty much like the stigmas and stereotypes that, you're crazy, like this, that, and like, don't believe all that stuff, man. But how I felt, I felt really, really nervous before getting therapy. I felt really like I didn't really want to do it because of those stereotypes, because of those stigmas. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want people to look at me, and think that I'm crazy and all this stuff. But back when I was in like middle school, one way that I found that helped me out a lot, because I had counselors and stuff like that in middle school for like my anger management, and just I've had counselors before, and one thing that they told me that stuck with me was to write, and just write how you feel. Whatever you feel, just write. So I would get a notebook and I would just write how I feel, whatever's on my mind, whether it's personal stuff, whether it's whatever, I would just write, and it helped me. And then eventually, I started to make like little songs in like middle school and like freshman year of high school, just on like little apps and stuff, just messing around. And now I make music, and my music is very raw and very emotional, storytelling type music. and it's how I vent. You know, music is like therapy to me. You know, the writing out how I feel and having people connect with it is such a great feeling for me. So if you like listening to music and you would like to listen to some of the stuff that I have, I'll leave links in the description. All my music is on streaming platforms. I got an album out that I actually dropped last year in 2020 called Thoughts in My Head, and it's a very great album. Not just saying it because it's me, but just because I talk about a lot of things that people think about but they don't never really say. That's why it's called Thoughts in My Head, you know, and it's very personal. You hear a lot of personal things about me on that album. And I'm working on a new album right now, actually, as we speak. I'm almost done. Got singles out, so I'll leave the links in the description. If you guys want to check it out, you can if you want. If you don't, that's cool as well. It's still all love over here. But I think that album is a testimony that I go through things. And, you know, a lot of people, they look at me because I'm a YouTuber and they see that I got 18K subscribers and they think that, you know, there's nothing wrong because I got 18K subscribers. And it's not true, man. YouTubers go through things as well. And I don't even consider myself a big YouTuber. You know, I do this part-time. I would love to do it full-time one day. But we go through things as well. And that album is a perfect example of like me going through stuff and actually opening up and being vulnerable. Because I feel like if I be vulnerable and I got a following and my family knows I got a following and all that, and I be vulnerable, I put myself out there, then maybe, just maybe, that may encourage someone to want to get therapy or just try to express themselves in a better manner, you know. And I'm not perfect. Let me say that too. I'm not perfect at I'm far from perfect, man. You know, I still deal with mental health issues. I'm learning, you know, after therapy, it's more so like I learn what's triggering it, and it helps me, you know, get over it a little bit better. But I don't think you can ever just get rid of depression. I think you learn how to deal with it, you know, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Like, my stance on this could change a year from now, a few months from now, a few weeks from now. But like in my current state of mind, I think you just learn how to deal with it. And I don't mean deal with it as in like in a bad way. You know, I mean deal with it as in, you know, you figure out what triggered me. Why did that trigger me? Why did this make me feel this way? You know, and when you do that, when you do figure out what triggers you, you can say, okay, you can kind of make a decision. At least for me, this is my perspective, right? You can kind of make a decision like, man, am I really mad over that? And you can kind of get over it sometimes not. But I think the most important thing is to feel your emotions. Don't try to suppress your emotions. And I've done that a lot, man, whether I was drinking alcohol, you know, or smoking, you know, I've always tried to suppress my feelings. You know, if I'm feeling sad, I would smoke or drink to kind of cope with it. And that's not the way to deal with things. The best thing to me is like feeling those emotions. Why am I sad? Oh, this is what sadness feels like. Oh, this is what happiness feels like. Because when you feel those emotions and you let your body, because we're humans and we're built with emotions, when you let your body feel those emotions, you know, it helps you a little bit, because you're like, okay, this is how I feel when I'm sad. This is how I feel when I just don't want to be bothered. This is how I feel when I'm happy, when I'm excited, you know. So allow yourself to feel these emotions, you know. And once again, like, I'm not a counselor or anything. I'm just sharing my personal opinions and you know, my perspective on things in my journey. All right, so this is pretty much going to wrap up the first video, the first part of this video, and then I'm going to do a part 2. In part 2, I'm going to kind of dive into what to expect, you know, when you have your first session, what to expect when you're doing therapy, what I recommend therapy, you know, did things get better for me, you know, things like that, man. It's going to be in part 2. My dog is growling. Do you hear this, guys? Argos, I'm trying to record a video, man. Hey, wake up. My dog was sleeping and growling, barking in his sleep. So sorry about that. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up video 1. Once again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It'll really, really mean a lot. Like the video, comment, because that helps. That helps, you know, my channel grow, helps our community grow. And send it to a friend. If you found anything helpful in this video, you know, comment down below what you found helpful. And if you found something helpful as well, send it to someone. Send it to someone that you know is going through something, so they know they're not alone. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I love you all, and I'll see you for part 2 of this 2-part series that I have. Peace.